Christmas or holidays, and it was a tough year for many of us. Many limitations. Many of you probably had much more issues and limitations and losses than I could ever imagine. And still, I hope that usually, when we have limitations, when we have loss, that if we get out of that we will be stronger and we will be more creative because of limitations, and we will know to enjoy and value the things we had before more than ever. And that's my hope. With that being said, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. For those of you who don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah, it has been a while since I made a stream, so thank you for being here, all three of you now. Let's see. So I would like to start with telling you about my Christmas. So I started the day by preparing food for my family. Actually, I started it by going online on Zoom and go to my first Aikido teacher's birthday party on Zoom. He lives in Germany, so his party was on the 23rd at night at 9:30. So I got up here at 5:30 to join, and I opened a whiskey to to join them. And this was, I don't know if it was a good idea to do that to start the day. And I did buy a razor. Actually, I still had one. I actually had a lot. Yeah, I come back to that. So that's how I started the day. And then after that, I started preparing food for like dumplings for Christmas dinner maybe. And then when it was later, my older one and I tried to find some kind of whole bird. Essentially, we were looking for chicken, but we didn't know. So in Japan, it's rather hard to find that, and the only place I thought would have that or something comparable is Don Quixote. Don Quixote is like you can get everything in their store, kind of. And we went there and we didn't find a chicken, but we found a duck. So we had duck, and it was the first time in my life to make a whole duck. So was interesting, but it turned out pretty good, surprisingly good. Even my wife was surprised. So that was a good thing. And then about presents, I got a couple of things. One is a couple of my family teamed up to help me purchase a new computer because my 2015 MacBook is kind of getting too slow for what I want to do with video editing. So I bought an iMac. Not an iMac, I bought a Mac Mini, which should run much smoother with the editing software I'm using, which is Final Cut Pro. And I also got this one here from my wife. It's a color checker, so looks like this on the inside, and then the other side is like this. And these are accurate colors, which makes this very expensive. So usually if you print, you have 3 colors and then they are mixed to form other colors. But these are not like that. They are separate. So essentially the printer who prints that has all of this, how much are these? 24 colors. It doesn't mix. So they're accurate, and then based on these, I can use software or my skills to change the colors so that they are also accurate in the camera, and then the pictures should look much more consistent and better, hopefully. I still have to try it. It arrived today. And another thing I gifted myself is this knife. I had a knife, a Victorinox knife, which was thin and longer than this, and it was a twin knife with my father. So for his 50th birthday, I gave him the other knife. I sold it to him because in Germany it's a sign of bad luck to present a knife, to gift a knife. So I sold it to him for 1 cent. I gifted him a cent, and then I sold it to him. So he had the one and I had the other one until 2 weeks ago. Exactly 2 weeks ago I lost it when I was shooting a video. And because I need a knife every now and then, especially a screwdriver or something on my shoots, I bought a new one. This is a Leatherman, super expensive, like $60. This little thing, but as you can see, like it has a what, I don't know what it's called actually, and it has a knife and a screwdriver and, very important, a bottle opener, and even scissors, which I probably will never use, but you never know. So these are the things. And from my mother-in-law I got socks, which I'm actually wearing. Wait, let me see if I can show them to you. So these kind of socks here, fantastic, orange. My older one said they need to be orange. Rimi Senpai says, hey Sensei, excellent. Yes. So shoot away if you have any questions or want to say anything. So John H said I bought a razor, which is true. So the Patreons know I had a beard for a couple of weeks. Let me get this straight a little more. And I actually still had razors and blades lying around, so I used them because my wife prefers that, and probably I feel like I look younger. So that's that. That being said, there will be a video coming up about Japanese tombs, kofun, like the keyhole shaped tombs, if you maybe you know that. This will come up, and in this video I will have a beard. And then there's another video after that, or before that, I'm not sure, where a friend of mine, maybe you know him, his name is Victor, his YouTube account and Instagram is called Frame of Travel. We went on a mountain here, and it was very snowy, and it got pretty cold. So on the peak where we went, wasn't the peak, but the highest point, it was like hip height, so about 1 meter, and -9, -10 degrees Celsius. So it got pretty cold. I was happy to be back. Okay, let me check the chat. How are you? Yes, great multi-tool, that's true. How are you? How's your health? I hope your family is doing well. They are doing well, I think. Kids are asleep, maybe my wife is as well, but she wants to get up. She should be in the next room, in the room next to this. I'm also doing good, I think. Now recently so you might know we moved to Nagano City, and not too far from here is a liquor store, and I bought the last of these. This is a Weihenstephaner Hefe Weissbier, which is a German beer. It claims to be the oldest brewery in the world, the Weihenstephaner brewery. So let's try this one and see how it is. So it's pretty expensive. This is a 0.33 liters. It was maybe $4, which is a lot for beer. But I don't drink a lot, so this should be enough for me for today. So then, cheers. Hopefully the next year will be better than this one. Less challenging maybe for once. And still, I hope a lot of growth, a lot of joy and love for all of you. Cheers. This one, I also got that at Don Quixote, because I didn't have a bottle opener, because I lost my knife. This was the only one. We'd also, usually in Germany also, you would use lighters or something to open it like this, but we also didn't have a lighter. Nobody's smoking here, so I bought one for $5. Great investment. Now though, I have this, so I should have used this one. The small. I'm wondering if it's too small. Maybe not. Yeah, it would work. Anyway, please let me know where you are now, how you're doing. If you have any questions, how your Christmas was, what you're planning to do over New Year or next year. And while you're typing, let me talk. let me continue talking. So recently, the last, when was that? Last 2 weeks of November and first week of December, I was attending a seminar by JNTO. I think that's for Japanese National Tourist Organization or so. And it was a so-called influencer seminar, which means they would like people that live in Japan, are foreigners, and have some kind of online presence to essentially get a little bit of training to become an influencer, maybe, or at least understand what it would be like, and then kind of get the tools to do that. And this was executed by, or the teacher was a guy called John Daub. He used to run a very big YouTube channel called Only in Japan, which has like 1.39 million subscribers. But it's owned by a company, and they had some disagreements, I guess, and so he left, and now he has a new channel which is like maybe 90K, 90,000. Still, he knows a lot. He also has another channel, Only in Japan Go, which has 200,000 subscribers or so, and then he lectured a little bit. I liked some parts of it, I didn't like others, or let's say, put it this way, a lot of the members might have been less experienced than I have. Some are on a similar level, I think, like the guy I made the upcoming video with, Victor. And yeah, it was okay, I guess. And there's still one more symposium coming up in the middle of January, and for that I should share some content I created in this period with them, which might be the video about Japanese tombs, the Kofun one, or the one where you go on the mountain. And now, let me see what questions you wrote. Did you go to the monkey park? So I shared before on Patreon. If you want to follow me there, would be really appreciated. If not, it's no problem. That I'm planning to go to Jigokudani, which is not far from here, maybe 1 hour or so by bus. And they are the famous snow monkeys. So usually if people think of Nagano, they think of like mountains and snow and monkeys and maybe skiing. And they are there. It's supposed to be very nice now because there's snow and there's the bath, the hot tub, the hot spring, and the monkeys. So they go into the hot spring, and of course that's what you want, especially monkey babies and so on. And unfortunately, so I planned to go there with Victor on last Saturday, but unfortunately the city that's close, Uchinoyama, had a corona outbreak, so they advised everybody to not go outside if they have a precondition, and old people and so on. So we decided to not go there and go up a mountain instead, which also was pretty nice, pretty picturesque. So now the monkeys are still on my list. I guess I have to go another time. Ramen or soba, which one is the best? Yeah, it depends, I guess. I think in winter it would be ramen, or it depend. Let's say when we say soba, let's say cold soba. So then in winter it would be ramen because it's hot, and in summer it would be soba. Especially in Nagano, because Nagano, this area is like Shinshu soba is very famous, or Togashi soba is like part of Nagano city, and that's apparently the birthplace of soba. That's actually where I went with Victor, even though we didn't eat there. So I personally prefer soba. I used to prefer soba. Now I'm getting more used to ramen, but only good ramen. So if it's like a mediocre thing or cup ramen or something, I don't need that. But if it's good ramen, so there's like, I have a very good ramen. So my recommendation, if you are in Tokyo, if you happen to be in Roppongi even, there's a restaurant called Musashi. There was another word before that. Anyway, if you Google Musashi Ramen Roppongi, then you find that this is excellent. And there you should get the tsukemen, actually, not ramen, but tsukemen. And the best thing is the chashu, that's the meat. Because usually you get like a thin slice, and sometimes it tastes a little old or so, not the greatest quality. But this one is super thick, super soft, just perfect. So that's what makes this ramen for me. And that's what you should get. So to answer your question, I like both. Then Merry Christmas from Germany. Frohe Weihnachten from Germany. Thank you, Stefan. Frohe Weihnachten zurück. I hate the word influence, especially when used on people who are better than that, which is basically almost everyone. Yeah, I also actually one of the first questions they had in like a pre-seminar survey was like, what do you understand under the word influencer? And for me, yeah, the connotation is not too positive. Usually I see something like somebody who wants to place products or something, or sell a certain lifestyle around the product or things, which I don't see myself doing. But of course, I'm trying to influence you to come to Japan or maybe this area and so on. So if you think of like being somebody who influences people, it's probably everyone anyway. So like our family and our friends and so on. But yeah, I don't really have a strong connection to that word either, as well. I love the ramen museum in Shin Yokohama. Yeah, actually, I lived not so far from there. So since I moved, I can say that. So I lived in Tsunashima Station. That's 3 stops from Shin Yokohama, with changing once. So I didn't live too far. Never went there though. Would have been a nice video maybe, like lots of like could have been a spectacular thumbnail, like eating 10 bowls of ramen in a day. So for those of you who don't know, it's, if I understand it correctly, because I've never been there, it's essentially a museum with about ramen maybe, but in any case it has a lot of ramen stalls, so you can get a lot of variations and gain a lot of weight. You look better, gain a bit of weight in the fullness of your face, okay? I'm not sure actually. Actually, I lost weight since. So I was like 75, then I went down to 69 or so when it started, and now I'm back to 72 or so. But also now I'm doing live streams on my laptop, which is here next to me now, on this side, and I'm doing this on my phone. So the angle might be a little bit tighter maybe, probably. Not as wide, which means the face looks a little bit thicker or more realistic. Actually, I might be much more chubby than you expect. Madman says, what up, bro? Hey, Madman. Good to have you here. Have a drink if you don't have one already, or not, depending on the time of the day, maybe. Let me know how you're doing, how your Christmas was, what you're planning to do in the next days for New Year, for next year. So for me, New Year, I'm not sure yet. So I had a friend here, as I mentioned. He's from the Kanto area, so my wife is a little bit concerned about Corona and so on. So we planned to go to my mother-in-law. We're still planning to do that. But another friend will come in 3 days. And if I meet him, he's not coming for me, he's just like passing through, but we'll stay a couple of, like half a day or so in Nagano. So it would be nice to meet and show him around. But my wife again is concerned because he's also passing through Kanto, which is Tokyo and so on. Yeah, so because my wife is concerned, then we might not be able to go to my mother-in-law's, who's even more concerned. And so we have to see. But if we go, if nothing would happen, nothing would happen, then we would spend our New Year with my mother and sister-in-law. And yeah, it's pretty unspectacular in Japan, I would say. I made a video on that. You can search that if you want, but I can also explain. So essentially we count down. Probably there will be some TV involved, like Johnny's Countdown. That's a lot of boy groups, and then one very famous boy group, the biggest one in Japan, called Arashi, will stop like at the end of the year. They will have a concert, but only on live stream, not in TV. And I guess that's what my wife wants to see, and I don't care. So we see that, and then when we count down, usually it's to jump into the new year. So if you count down, then on 1 you jump, and on 0 you land in the next year. And this is something that can be very painful if you don't pay close attention. Let me explain. So first year in Japan, first Sylvester, I was holding my newborn, relatively newborn, 2 months old, and usually you have like normal height of the ceiling, but when you go to the kitchen, there might be a little bit of like it might be lowered, like there would have been a wall, but it was cut out so that you can go to the kitchen. And I was standing under that, and so when I jumped, I totally hit my head. Thankfully, it was a wooden house and not like a concrete thing, so essentially it was not harmed, but it was not so fun, and everybody was a bit surprised. Okay, Weizenbier again. Yes, Weizenbier again, Stefan. Weizenbier again. It was the last one in the store, and I have it now. Any official updates in regards to letting us travel to Japan again with the implementation of the various vaccines? No updates from me, at least none that I know of. That being said, I have checked the news today for the first time in a couple of days, so there might have been some announcement I missed, but nothing I'm aware of. But I'm also no authority, so probably better to just check like official websites. Out of all places you visited in Japan, which one is your favorite? That's hard to say. I mean, obviously I like Nagano a lot, so I like it. I liked it when I first came here. Then when I lived here first, I didn't like it, and now that I'm living here again, I like it much more. I also like maybe the one where I'm not living would be Kanazawa, I think, because it's more not because of the place so much but because of the connections I have. So went there with my wife when she wasn't my wife yet, and went to a fantastic hotel, and it was a spectacularly fantastic hotel, and it was a fantastic experience. That's why. So, and also Kanazawa is like it's not as touristy, not as many. There's also a fish market. There's Kanazawa Castle, and next to it is Kenroku-en, which is one of Japan's 3 most beautiful, or acknowledged as one of Japan's 3 most beautiful gardens. And there's a samurai district and so on. So it's pretty nice, and you can eat like ice with gold leaf on top, because it's the kana of Kanazawa is the kanji for gold. So it's the Kanazawa's color is gold, so everything is covered in gold leaf. If you want that kind of luxury, if you can afford that. When is the next upload? So I'm working on a video now about Kofun. There will be definitely an upload in this year. So patiently waiting. Thank you so much for your patience. Today is the 26th. Yeah, the next days, so the next 5 days within this year there will be one, and probably soon after another one. Hope to visit Japan again in May, maybe. I read somewhere that the government might allow tourists in spring sometime. Yeah. There was the news. So Japan is in a tough situation, because on the one hand, of course, they need to kind of protect everybody, right? Of course, I mean, hopefully everybody thinks like that of their governments, and hopefully the government thinks the same. And then on the other hand, they have the Olympics maybe coming up next year, still planned, right? So if they don't start opening around May or spring, then it's going to be really hard. Or they have like Olympics without audience, which kind of takes away the incentive of getting a lot of economic growth and boost after having invested so much money. So it might be totally possible, even if the vaccines are not as effective as one might hope. Even then, it might be possible. By the way, I want to thank you because your video, IT Job in Japan, influenced and motivated me to study hard. So, okay, Dreamy Senpai, all the best. Study hard, and then hopefully you can achieve whatever you are wishing for. Chill, man. With all going on, you're lucky to get a live stream. Thank you. Hi from Germany. Merry Christmas. Almost missed it. Says Jazi Wardas. Thank you. And Grüße in die Heimat. Knowing that you're German and the fact that Germany is one of the most strict regulated countries in Europe, and now living in Japan, which one would you recommend? Move away. Which one would you recommend for people who like order? Okay, depends. I think it depends what you understand order, because if you think of order as in like everything is aligned in the same order, then maybe both are fine. And if you think of order as like social hierarchy, then Japan is fine. And it also depends on other things. So personally, now what I don't like so much about Germany, which what I enjoy more in Japan, is is the grumpiness. So Germans tend to be tend to show when they don't feel absolutely happy with any situation, especially now at this time of the year. Usually, I mean, outside of Corona. So if you have in Germany, usually if it's winter, then it gets like the sun comes out at like 9 a.m. and then goes down at 4 p.m. And it's not, and then we have like gray sky all the time. So it's not really something that makes you super enthusiastic and so on. And then if you have to go to work as well, then you don't see light, you don't see daylight all day. So people tend to be like super already grumpy when they get on the train because they have to go to work. It's dark and it's cold outside and it's hot inside and there are lots of people, so you have to squeeze in and nobody goes in, so they can in the train, I mean, and they start screaming like get inside and so on. That wouldn't happen in Japan. So in Japan, people just get in properly, and the trains are also a little bit more better organized for that, and for lots of masses and so on. So yeah, it depends. When you understand order as also being like people keeping more to themselves and so on, and not so much complaining about you or what you do or what they think you should do, then maybe Japan is the nicer place for you. Hi from Czech Republic. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, Rick. Thank you. Will you live in Japan forever? If yes, how did you decide? I don't know. Maybe not, maybe yes. Yeah, it's hard to say. So on the one hand, especially at this time of the year, I think a lot about my friends and my family. And also, so we used to celebrate Christmas at my grandfather's place, but he passed away this year. So that's also a lot of like, my grandpa and so on. So I'm thinking about that a lot. So my heart is not necessarily in Germany, but with my family, and they are in Germany. So, but then of course, my family, as in my brothers and sisters, my siblings, my parents, and so on. But then of course my children, my wife, and so on are in Japan. So it's hard to say. But of course, if I take them with me to Germany, then everything is combined. So yeah, it's tough. I don't know if I will stay forever. That's the answer. Japan is more on the respect is valued side than Germany. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Did you eat Japanese Christmas KFC this year? No, I didn't. We didn't eat KFC. I made a duck and some German dumplings, and it was great. I did have KFC for Christmas only once, 4 years ago, because it was the first time and I thought I need to do that. And it was kind of okay, but it's still just KFC. So we had the bucket and there was a cake inside, and then maybe some of that standard chicken. It wasn't a whole chicken or something. Also in 2017, I went to a YouTube Christmas party of Yummy Japan, if that says anything to anybody, and there we had the chicken, and I had like 1 or 2 bites. It was kind of okay, but not homemade good. Yeah, grumpy and kind of depressed. I get it. Absolutely, absolutely. I want to apply for IT jobs in Japan next year. Since you've been sitting on the hiring side during interviews, how bad are my chances as a 40-year-old woman with only a little Japanese? I can't say anything based on your gender, of course, and your age without knowing about your experience, which is key. And Japanese probably within 4 it doesn't do much, but it depends. So we might sometimes ask you how your Japanese is, and if you're in Japanese and if you can reply, then that's good. So, but of course, if you want to apply to a company where there's only Japanese is spoken, then N4 won't cut it. Madman says, huge fan of yours, man. Thank you, Madman. I appreciate that. Germans can seem disrespectful towards others and very focused on self. Japanese people are all about respect and collective well-being. Pick your poison. Yes, so that's true. Germans can seem disrespectful, but on the other hand, they are not hiding a lot in comparison to Japan. So Japanese might be more like they say like this or so, which means no. So that's gonna happen a lot, and Germans will say, if they will tell you if they don't like something. They will be direct, probably. Love your videos, Madman. Thank you, thank you. Maultaschen. Maultaschen? Maultaschen. I wonder when I had that last time. This. Do you like natto? It's tasty. Is it tasty? I'm sorry for asking only about foods. No problem, senpai. Dreamy senpai. I don't like natto. My kids do eat it so natto in Japan comes with sauce and mustard usually. They don't like mustard, but they like the sauce, and without sauce they don't eat it. Let me quickly adjust the phone a bit. And this morning they had it, and it sticks everywhere because especially my younger one, doesn't eat too clean, so it's like everywhere. And then it's like on the table, and to get it off and so on, it's so hard. And also, yeah, I try it sometimes, and like 1 spoon or so is okay, but the whole thing, usually they come in like this kind of size of a container, is not my thing. And for those of you who don't know, natto are fermented soybeans. I'm going to Japan 2nd time next November, December. Can you tell me some super cool, awesome, hidden, amazing city, place, shrine on north of Japan? Thanks for the answer, man. In north of Japan, I'm rather unexperienced, so I've been there only once on a tour, and it was rather touristy. But what I can tell you is, you should go to Nyoto Onsen. That's not so touristy, I think, because they are usually booked half a year in advance. So usually it's more booked by Japanese. And I went there and I could go there only because somebody else cancelled. So I was super lucky. Nyoto Onsen is in, where's that? Akita Prefecture. Yeah, that's what you should Google now, and then go book that. Wait, let me also Google. And it's spectacularly beautiful, especially if you said November, December, right? So it should be snowing probably, and then it will be beautiful. They have an outdoor onsen. Probably if you Google onsen, then it should be one of the first pictures that show up. At least that's what it used to be like. And let me Google that. The thing is though, it's a mixed onsen. The water is white though, so women usually come from the side where you can see them, and they go like until here over the chest, and then they walk in. But men don't do that. So when we went there, there were like older women, and when we went out, they said that, like, yeah, it's okay, you can stand up, you can stand up. We have seen that. So I like that one for onsen, and especially November, December. Then there's also another one where I went in Yamagata Prefecture, which is called Yamadera, which is a temple on a mountain. So essentially, you walk like 1,100 stairs or so, and then there's a temple, and there's a great view down on the valley, and it's also really picturesque. However, there have been more tourists back then. I think a lot of people, definitely. Not sure how many of them were foreign tourists, but a lot of people. I like it though. I can say a lot about Off the Beaten Path and so on though in northern Japan. Natto is the stuff of nightmares. Not even my Japanese wife or her family likes it. Yeah, I mean, but it's cheap and it's healthy, and so I have a friend who didn't have so much money while he was studying, and he essentially lived off natto. Yeah. Poor guy. You have any goals, plans for 2021 besides health and well-being? I'm not really sure yet. So I want to make a couple of videos, at least 12, so once a month. And I want to focus more on exploring and on people. So showing more areas. So for example, I'll tell you why. So when I'm in Nagano now, and whenever I ask somebody, hey, what should I do in Nagano? What's there to do in this city? People say like, maybe you can go to Zenkoji. That's the big temple. And then they're like, but other than that, I don't really know. And I want to change that. So essentially, I want to go to the places that are worth visiting and don't come up when you Google top 10 things to do in Nagano. I want to visit the places, I want to show them to you, and especially I want to show the people. So like I don't just want to show a nice restaurant, I want to show the owner of the restaurant and why the restaurant is special, because of the people, of course, and how they are working, what they are giving, and how they are struggling to do the best or to provide whatever they do. That's what I want to do. That's my goal for next year for the channel. Personally, of course, health. That maybe take it easy at work, also because of health. A lot of family time. Give as much love as I can to my children and my wife, of course, and hopefully feel like I'm living my passion. That's my goal, I think. So, which means for me, I want to practice a lot more Aikido, which is a Japanese martial art. I heard natto is the secret weapon of the Japanese kitchen for tourists that would like to try everything. That might be. Yeah, I had a couple of friends here. We went to a kaiten sushi, so a running sushi restaurant, and there was a makimono with a roll with natto inside, and for some reason they thought they absolutely have to try it, and they regretted that. I want to be a YouTuber like you. Any ideas for me? I don't know, Madman, because I don't know your background or anything. But generally, for me, it was I got a camera when I knew I would move to Japan, and I knew I would have kids or one kid, and I knew I would get married. So that's a lot of reasons to have a nice camera and take some nice pictures. And this camera could also, it's this camera, by the way, this one here. This could also shoot videos. So when I was here, I started that, and it looked nowhere what I wanted it to look. So I wanted it to look like, I don't know, Casey Neistat or maybe Abroad in Japan or something, like all the people that I watched. And I thought, yeah, great, I should do that. But it didn't. So I had to learn. I had to learn a lot, and that's probably what you also have to do. So get some kind of camera, maybe your phone, if you have a good one, like probably you do have a good enough one, and then try to do what you want to do, and then you will see the difference between your imagination, what you want to achieve, and what you can achieve. And then you have to ask yourself, why it doesn't look like this. And then you have to work towards this. And as you do that, this will change. So your goal will change more and more, maybe more ambitious. And then step by step you improve your game. And hopefully people recognize that and you become a YouTuber that is worth looking and worth people's time. What is a hanko? I saw that everyone should have that while living in Japan. A hanko is a stamp, essentially a name seal. So you make one, you can order them online. I have two, one for work, if I have to approve something, I stamp that, and one for here. You also need that, for example, when you receive mail. You can also sign, but it's annoying. You can just stamp it, done, and it's gone. You don't have to just put. Yeah, so everybody has one essentially if they live here. It's like, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's like $10 or $20, depending on how fancy you want it and what kind of, packaging you want and so on. And that's a hanko. And many people say it's annoying and kind of a thing of the past, and because of hanko you need to have fax machines and all that. So not everybody likes that. So you honestly think gender and age would not be an issue in the IT field? My job in IT security is only available in big companies anyway, so I hope English will be sufficient. Yes, I mean, I don't know if that's generally the case, but for me it is the case. So I don't care if you are male or female or define yourself differently, as long as your skill is good. Of course, I can't make assumptions of what other people think, or if they have some hidden agenda or something. But of course, I think they shouldn't. Yeah. And I don't know much about IT security. I know we have IT security, and it's very important, of course. Some companies offer Japanese language courses, I heard. Yes, my company did. Actually, they offered one-on-one classes, which I took all until I couldn't get anymore. Unrelated topic. I love the title of the toilet video, which I think was your first. How to survive in Japanese toilets. Yes, it was my first. I don't remember exactly why I chose survive. Why did I choose that? But I mean, maybe it was clickbait enough or so to have it recommended to people. When I watched that, it's pretty cringy for me, and I looked so young. So when was that? 4 years ago. But it was not bad. I mean, for first video, it performed pretty well in the beginning already. So I got in the beginning it didn't do anything, but then I started to promote it a little bit and so on. There's a platform called Imager, which is essentially for images, but you can also paste GIFs, whatever you want to be the pronunciation to be. You can post it there, and I made essentially I cut the video into, changed it into a collection of GIFs and posted it there with a link then, this is the source. And from that I got 200 views and 18 subscribers or something like that. And this was pretty good for first video. So usually you won't get much, at least if you don't try to promote it. And now it has 600,000 views, I think. Maybe something around that. So it's doing pretty well still after all those years. And even though I think it's so bad, but maybe. 1 videos a week, I really appreciate your videos. Yeah, I tried that in the beginning of the year, but I personally didn't like the content so much and the quality. So it was a lot of this kind of setting where I'm sitting in one angle and there's not a lot of changes and so on. So creatively it's not so challenging, and I think it's also not as engaging, and it kind of makes me lose interest in the content, which means I'm not enjoying it as much, and then everybody's suffering. That's not what I want to do. I want to make really enjoyable content for all of us. So for you and the other people that are not in this live chat, live stream, and me, of course. We usually are the type of people who don't wax. So is it necessary to wax before visiting an onsen? No, this is Japan. You don't need to do that. Is living in Japan cool or boring? Yes. Totally depends on what you do. but I think it doesn't. I don't care actually as long as I'm happy. So, is my life cool? I don't think it's cool, but I also don't think it's boring. I think it's, yeah. I also don't think it's ordinary. For me, it's special. So that's what's counting for me. Got a Hanko Incan in Tokyo hands for about €9, and you wait for an hour. Yeah, exactly. I ordered my first one online. I think the second one too was maybe $20 or so, because of the case I got. There are 3 types of Hanko. Wait, it says Erminox. So there's Mitomain for everyday use and officially registered Jitsuin, and a Ginkoin for standard bank transactions. Last message from me. Thank you and stay well, brother. You stay also well, Madman. And Happy New Year advance. Thank you. Thank you. Any thoughts on PewDiePie? I haven't watched PewDiePie in a while. I don't know what he's been doing recently, or if there's another controversy around him. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a hardworking man, and he's yeah, I mean, sometimes he might not, I don't know. Sometimes he seems like, why is it? I'm wondering why he's doing certain things, but generally, I respect his hustle, maybe. Yeah, his devotion to the platform and to what he's doing. That's all I can say. So because I don't watch PewDiePie a lot. Watching him play Among Us with the other streamers is fun to watch. Okay, maybe I have to do that one day. Watch him play Among Us. It's gone. Are you watching any animes now? I am not, I think. Am I watching anything? So my wife got into Demon Slayer lately. Now she wants the whole, maybe you know, Demon Slayer. The last manga was released 2 weeks ago or so. So now she wants the complete section, like the whole thing, like 23 volumes. That's my Christmas present to her, but because they're all sold out, she just got like a ticket, a coupon thing. And I'm not watching anime usually. If I do for English, for language learning, but recently I haven't invested a lot in that, so I didn't. And if so, then it might be something like, you know, the classics like One Piece or Dragon Ball or something. I do like One Punch Man a lot. It's ridiculously good. The first season, that is. The second season, yeah, it's not so great. But there's also the manga, so the manga is also good. Yeah. And then other than that, I mean, I can tell you what my wife likes, but that's probably not what you're asking. So I'm not watching a lot of anime. Almost midnight here, so time for bed. Happy New Year. Okay, then. Happy New Year, John. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your support as always. How was the transmission to a Japanese diet? I lost 15 kilograms fast after going to Japan. I didn't lose anything, did I? No, I didn't. I gained some weight when I started working at a Japanese company though, because my office originally was in Roppongi, and we just went out every lunch, and then, you know, pizza and ramen and tonkatsu and so on, and then you gain weight. But I didn't gain so much. Probably I didn't gain a lot of kilos, but at the same time, because I worked so much and didn't take the time to work out a lot, I transferred some of my muscle kilos into fat kilos. Happy New Year in advance. Stay well and peace. Thank you. Happy New Year to you and as well. Yoyo Toshio is what they say here. That's before the new year. You're more on the cinematic side of creators. Ever thought about doing an in real live stream now and then? For example, when you are on your way somewhere or for a walk. I haven't until recently. Last weekend, when Frame of Travel Victor was here, and we made a video together, and he did a lot of that. At least he did like one live stream, I think, for his Patreon community, or two, and he did a lot of Instagram stories. So essentially, now we go there, and now we're there, and now we have this challenge, and so on. Maybe I can do something like that, but currently I'm not yet. If you're saying that, do you mean something like more of the journey, following along, making the video, or also like explaining cinematic aspects of essentially my thought process and how to create a certain kind of video? Everyone in Japan are Demon Slayer crazy these days, it seems. Yes, Demon Slayer is so exciting. They made a movie which was released during COVID, and it still was like more successful than Kimi no Na wa Your Name. So it's like, yes, they are. Is there a big salary difference in Japan based on the region and city where you work? Depends. So I work from home now, and I'm not in Tokyo. I'm in central Japan, but my office is in Tokyo. So while I'm not working in Tokyo, I still get a Tokyo office. So I still get a Tokyo office salary. So it depends on what deal you can get and how lucky you are. There are some companies, for example, Line, I know has offices in Fukuoka and in Tokyo, and the salary is the same. Then other companies say like give you like an additional payment if you live, for example, in Tokyo, and then you wouldn't get it anywhere else, or maybe a lower one. So it depends on the company. Stay well, bye. Okay, you too, Madman. Thank you again. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, not too generic name. Have you ever thought about coloring your hair? Well, I did color my hair when I was I think 11 or 12, and when I was 15, I dyed it blonde. Yeah, I wouldn't do that again. But maybe, so because I get gray hair, maybe one day I think like, yeah, no, I don't like the gray, I don't want to turn white, I need like dye my hair. That being said, in Japan it's a little bit harder to get my color because it's like brownish and not black. So it might not be 100% accurate. You should start simple and find your style. What is nice is that streams need no post-production. That's true. And would at least mean less work. The consistency might bring more viewers for the live streams. Certainly, yeah. I mean, one thing, if you know, only in Japan Go, John Daub, who runs that, does is like consistency, right? Like, 5 days a week or so, he goes out somewhere and shows some areas and does a 1 hour live stream and so. And he gets like most of his income currently even from this channel, because a lot of people are donating and doing super chats and so on. You can also let me know what you're planning for the new year. I'm asking for the 3rd time, so if you don't want to share, it's okay. But I would like to, since this is live, get to know you a little bit more. Let's see what. He even goes live, John Daub, while on the way to work and buying donuts. Yeah. Passive YouTube income must be pretty cool. How many months or years did it take you to get $100 monthly? I don't remember, not too many I think, but I'm still at like 110 or so, because since I'm not uploading a lot right now, it's kind of stagnating. It's almost the same. How long did it take me though? I don't know. I can check now. Let me take a second. And while you're that, let me check the next question. I heard about dress code in Japan. Is it a bad thing to have a beard in Japan? My beard covers my bad face. I think no, it's not. So I don't see a lot of Japanese people have like a full beard. Some have like a stash or something, if it fits the overall style. But not many people are like me, clean shaved. But also even in my company or like if you're foreign, it might be excusable to have a beard. And if you're a tourist, nobody cares. So let me see how long it took me to actually get to $100 a month. It's a little bit hard to see. So I had I started in September, and in December I had of 2016, and in December I had a video which was very popular, which got like 50,000 views or so in a couple of days, and one day maybe. And I think that's when I crossed $100 the first time. So it took me maybe 4 months or so. But then it went down again, like crashed down. So constantly over $100 maybe a year or something, I don't know. I'm just spending it with the family, New Year. Okay, nice. In our home, it's warm and safe. Excellent. Sounds like a good plan. That's what I'm also planning to do. Family, yeah. For me, it's also always like not less necessary a balance, but obviously I love spending more time with my family now when I have like days off. So I will be off until the 4th of January. So that's like 10 days in total from Christmas Eve. And finally I can play with my children a lot and support my wife and so on. But at the same time, I would love to use a little bit, or even a little bit more of the time to edit some videos and so on, and try some things out and so on. But well, that's what I'm doing in the evening now, or tomorrow morning, if I get up early enough before my children. So let me know if you have a couple of questions or anything, and if not, then I'm running out of battery, so I am at only 9% now, so it will stop at some point soon. So next couple, 3, 4, 5 questions or so, and then probably this will be it for today. And if you don't have questions, that's also fine. Then we just cut it short. It's already been 1 hour, which hopefully was at least kind of entertaining until now. And I hope you could you could bear with me while I got like a little bit tipsy by just one 0.33 liters beer. Okay. Well then, if you don't have any remaining questions, ladies and gentlemen, then I thank you all for your time today. It was my pleasure, as always. And I hope you have fantastic remaining holidays and a really great transition into the new year. And then hopefully next year will be much more enjoyable for everybody than it has been in 2020. So thank you so much for joining me today, and then see you next time.